My dearest Judy, I know I do not deserve a chance to explain myself after what I've done, but because of what we shared together, I owe you an explanation for my sudden absence from Los Angeles. I've known since the commercial success of my debut feature it would be no use to gauge the success of subsequent films on box office numbers alone, as if that was ever a measure of success. However, the response I received last month from both critics and peers towards my most recent film left me heartbroken and questioning my abilities as an artist. So I have sought refuge at a friend's ranch in Wyoming, where it is quiet and the air is clean and no one knows my name. On occasion I drive into the town of Cheyenne for a meal and a drink and a stroll that inevitably leads me to where else but a bookstore. It was only a matter of time before my lonely marches through shelves of literature brought me to the works of that author I most revere, Ernest Hemingway. While browsing Hemingway's biography, I chanced upon an interesting fact. It was here, in Cheyenne, in November of 1940, Hemingway married his third wife, Martha Gellhorn. They stood on the platform of the Union Pacific train depot and took their vows. And just like that, Cheyenne and Martha Gellhorn became Hemingway's latest stop on a trip that took him through many different places with many different women. To understand Hemingway's trip, we must travel back in time, to the end of the First Great War. Hemingway fell in love with the woman who nursed his body back to health. The love, however, was not returned, and though Hemingway recovered from the physical wounds of battle, he emerged from war with a broken heart. But his heartache would not last long, for he was soon to meet Elizabeth Hadley Richardson. In Hadley, Hemingway found the love of a woman. He found a life in Europe. Hemingway had found his roots. And then, in December of 1922, Hadley arrived at Gare de Lyon in Paris and boarded her train with the focus of a woman on a mission. You see, she was intent on bringing her young husband's collective works to where he waited with an editor in Switzerland. She packed everything her husband ever wrote into a suitcase and brought it with her to the station. Before the train departed, Hadley left her belongings to buy a bottle of water for the trip. When she returned, the suitcase was gone, and with it, every line of prose and poetry the young Hemingway ever wrote. In her husband's eyes, Hadley had committed an unpardonable sin. And so, unable to forgive Hadley for the loss of his suitcase, Hemingway's trip began. He took up a mistress, an act that would destroy his marriage. He fell in and out of love. He drank more and more each day. He poured himself into his work. He took up all roots, and he remained rootless until the end. And I realized that I too know what it means to give up roots for the sake of art. To leave behind memories, moments in time, the person you love. The train depot Hemingway knew has changed since that November day in 1940. There are no ticket sales or passenger trains, just burgers and drinks. But you can still hear the trains. And you can still smell the rail yard. And in truth, this town really hasn't changed all that much. There's something real about this place. It's what gave my first film life. Something I could never find in LA outside of moments with you. You know, the thing that discouraged me most about what the critics said is that they were right. My second film had no soul. but I've found something here, and I can't come back to LA. So while I know I have no right to ask you this, I want you to come to me in Cheyenne. I think I may have found what we're looking for.